Welcome to my K-pop makeup tutorial. My name is Judy and I'm so excited to get into this with you. I love Jennie, I love her look, I love her sense of style, and this look in particular, it is super colorful, and I will be prioritizing makeup that you can find in the drugstore. So we'll be using like basic, easy makeup techniques here. Now in K-beauty, the name of the game is skin. So the first thing that you want to do is prep your skin. So you're going to have to use your moisturizer, and then after that, I always use a primer. My primer of choice is the Infallible Matte Lock Mattifying Primer by L'Oreal Paris. So once you're primed and ready to go, and then you're going to apply some color corrector. So this color corrector is in Neutral Peach by L'Oreal Paris, and we're going to place that wherever we see any bluish or grayish tones on our face. So I'm going to put it under my eyes. I like to put it around my mouth. In a lot of the K-beauty culture and the K-beauty tutorials that you'll find, there's actually going to be a lot of time spent doing the color correcting. I'm also using this cool green color corrector, also by L'Oreal Paris. And with this, I'm actually going to apply the color corrector wherever I have any redness. So I'm going to use it to cover up any red spots, any redness in the skin. A lot of the K-beauty tutorials, they actually used the color corrector to cover up any redness in the cheeks. Now, because in K-beauty, they're really into smooth, glassy skin, I personally also used the green concealer to cover up quite a lot of my freckles. I have a lot of freckles. I'm half Filipino and half German Irish, and I basically got light skin that tans and gets freckles at the same times. And I mean, I get a lot of freckles. So I don't have nothing against freckles. I don't normally cover my freckles specifically up, but just specifically for this K-pop look, I just don't see any K-pop artists with freckles, so they just have super perfected skin. So it's important to add that as I'm putting the color correctors on my face, it looks a lot more orange and a lot more green than it shows up in the video. So don't worry about that, because this is going to go underneath your makeup, so you're not going to just have like orange and green patches on your face. Just put a little bit of concealer on there and then just press everything into your face. We are moving on to contour. Now, I'm doing contour what I call the quick and dirty way, which is you're going to put on your bronzer and you're going to put on your highlight underneath your foundation. So I'm using a bronzing stick by Anastasia in the shade Fawn, and I'm going to apply it right above the hollow of my cheekbone on both sides, just a little bit. We're not going crazy here with contour. And then a little under my chin, definitely on both sides of my nose. We want a nice defined nose, and then a little on each side of my forehead. Now, I didn't come up with this technique. This was a technique I actually learned from Ali Andreaa on YouTube, and I use it all the time. Just depending on the look I'm going for, I either make the contour heavier or lighter. And now we're moving on to the highlighter. I'm using Revlon's highlighting stick in light pink. It's a super pretty shade. I'm just putting it on my forehead, the top of my nose, the bridge of my nose, the chin, and the tops of my cheekbones. I looked for the exact video where I learned this trick, but I couldn't find it. So I'll include a link to her profile if you want to check out some of her makeup videos. I think she's awesome. And now we're actually going to add more concealer. This is my favorite concealer. It's by CoverGirl. It's called True Blend Undercover, and I prefer the shade in Natural Ivory. And I'm going to apply it right underneath my eyes, a little around my nose, the sides of my nostrils, and a little around my mouth, in the same kind of areas that we hit before. For this look, I really want the skin to look super perfected, so we're just spending most of our time on the skin. Then after that, we're going to go blend, blend, blend. Now, if you're enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up. And definitely, if you want to see more, let me know in the comments. 2022 is going to be my year, I've decided. I left my company that I've been working with for 4 years, and let me put a pin in that idea just for a moment. We're going to go ahead and put a little bit of concealer on our eyelids and use that as a primer. You're going to take your beauty blender and blend that in. I mean, I've danced my whole life. I love dancing, but I was feeling extremely burned out, and now I'm completely working on my own, and I'm just really excited about exploring this idea of living my life. And anybody that's interested in exploring that with me, feel free to join in. All right, so now we're on to foundation. Now, this is my favorite foundation that I've ever used, and they actually are not making it anymore. It's by L'Oreal Paris, and it's the Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick in Shell Beige. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually just place the foundation in all of the areas of our skin where there just isn't anything on there. So there's no concealer, no highlighter, no contour. We're gonna go ahead and put the foundation stick there first. Make sure you go under your chin a little bit onto your neck. And then we're gonna take our beauty blender, we're going to press that into our face, and the extra foundation that is on the sponge, we're gonna put that over the contour. And we're going to blend, blend, blend. By the easel behind me, and there's like a one drawing off to the side, is I also am an artist. My degree was actually in the visual arts. And I don't know, I'm just 2022. We're just gonna go for all the things that we love. So again, hopefully you're enjoying this video. If you're enjoying this video, I'd encourage you to subscribe to my channel. In 2022, I'm really looking at exploring this idea of living well. I think so many of us experience burnout in today's day and age, and I'm still teaching completely on my own. I'm teaching completely privately, both art and dance, and it's a much better fit for me. And I just want to share about my journey, and I want to have input if there are other people out there trying to just live a better life and kind of explore this idea of the art of living well. So for me, that's what my videos are going to be about. So it should be a pretty wide variety of things. I'm going to try a lot of different things. And I would love for you to join me on this journey. I would love to hear feedback from you of things you think I should try or things that you want to see, or even just how this tutorial was. This is my first ever tutorial. And I'm having fun, and I hope you are too. So now that we've done all that work to perfect our skin, we want to set it. So we're going to grab our finishing powder. I'm using L'Oreal Paris's Infallible Translucent Setting Powder. It's just a white, clear powder. And I'm taking a fan brush, tapping a little bit of that extra powder off. And I'm going to take that and I'm just going to put it pretty much lightly all over my face as well as on the top of my neck, because I don't want the foundation coming off onto like my clothes, and I'm just trying to set it, make sure that it stays in place. Now we're gonna do just a little bit more highlight. I'm using the Becca, Chloe, and Malika highlighter. You're gonna see that there's like almost no highlighter left on that palette, so I'm gonna have to get a new one. But what I like to do is I like to swish all three shades together and just apply it lightly on my cheekbone, the very top of my cheekbone towards the temple. We're not trying to do a ton of highlighter, just very subtle. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the other side. So that is my Dear Dahlia Blooming Edition Secret Garden Palette Flower Bed. And the blush is called Pure. And I put it right on the apples of our cheeks on both sides. And I am using a Lancome Paris lip pencil in sheer raspberry. This is just my standard favorite lip pencil for when I'm not doing a red. It's very close to my natural color of my lips. It's a little darker. And I'm just going to do a basic line for my lips because we are going for a K-pop look, which means that we do want our lips to be more defined than if we were doing like a K-drama look or a more natural look. The lip liner is going to help my lipstick to stay in place. I'm going ahead and hopping into the lip color here. I'm grabbing a Revlon Make It Pink shade. So now we're grabbing that Dear Dahlia palette again. And we are using this shade called Flower Bud. And this is all from the same Blooming Edition Secret Garden palette, Flower Bed palette. So we're going to go in from the top of the brow bone, and we're just going to take that very light neutral base and move it down towards the bottom of our eye, down towards the lash line. Once you have it done on one eye, we'll go hop to the other eye and bring that down. So we're grabbing our Dear Dahlia palette again. I'm grabbing the eyeshadow shade in Twig, and I'm using a pointer brush. You're going to grab that pointer brush, tap off the excess, and then we're going to go right onto the lid. And what we're trying to do, it's a little bit different, again, from what I've seen with like Western makeup. This is very different from what I would do for ballroom makeup. We're going to go in and we're going to kind of softly define our lid, starting with the outer edge of our lid from the lash line and the outer edge. And we're actually going to take that, we take it pretty much across the lid and just subtly darken. I mean, I'm going to have to practice this technique more I've tried it out a couple times before this tutorial. I think it's really pretty, and it's definitely like building the color over time. Like, it kind of almost reminds me of watercolors where you're not really like, I mean, you can in watercolor grab like a ton of pigment and just like stick it on there, but this is much more like kind of layering these watery pigments on there. Now, this isn't watery, but it's just, you have to really be patient with that pointer tool and just kind of gently etch in the eyeshadow. And so now I'm just kind of checking in, just making sure that the definition is even and that there is enough definition. This seems like another good opportunity for me to ask you, if you've been enjoying this video, to go ahead and like the video. Grabbing that Dear Dahlia palette again, grabbing the shade Potpourri, which is basically this sort of raspberry color shade. It's a little bit darker than raspberry, just a little bit more purpley. And I'm just going in and continuing to define my eyelid. And I'm going to go for basically for the same area that we were in before. You have defined the area that we've already gone over with 2 other shades. You're actually going to start bringing a little bit of that shadow over into your crease on the inner side of your eye, as I'm showing right now in the video. And it's just going to define your eyelid just a little bit more. It's very subtle, very beautiful type of definition, just really different from like what I'm used to in the ballroom world, where it's like super dramatic. Like in that area, we've usually already got tape on our eye, and usually we're making that wing nice and black for some kind of really dramatic color to get this like more of an angled look. And I think with the K-Beauty, that usually what they're trying to do is they're trying to give their eyes a little bit more of a rounded look. So we're grabbing our Dear Dahlia palette again. Now we're using the shade Sparrow, which is sort of a faded black. So it's not quite a true black. It's not super dark. It's going to really complement the shades that we already have on our eye. Now we're going in, we're going to go right above, like right into that lash line, and then a little bit past the outer corner. So we still have a little bit of like a angled cat eye thing going on, not an actual cat eye where we take it beyond the lid, but where we're really defining the outer edge of our eye. And I just love the buildable technique that they do in these K-Beauty looks, where they really kind of build the eyeshadows. They're very blended. I had to go in and blend with a larger eyeshadow brush, a soft eyeshadow brush. In most of the K-Beauty videos that I watch, they're like so precise with that pointer brush that I don't see a lot of blending going on. For me, it's like almost like I was like, is anything even happening? Was kind of how I felt. And like I said, it is really beautiful. It really builds, but compared to doing other kinds of makeup, it feels a little bit different. It's like changing from painting to watercolors. And my degree is in the visual arts. My focus is we're in ceramics and painting. So I'm a painter. I'm starting to get into watercolors, which is probably why I'm relating this a lot to the watercolors and to the painting. And you can kind of see some of my artwork is behind me, because where I get ready is also the place where I make my art. So I kind of have this little studio room in my house, and it's just completely dedicated to artistic things. Because for me, getting ready, getting dressed, fashion, beauty, it's all like in the same family as artwork. I'm gonna grab my Naked 2 palette here. I'm gonna grab the lightest shade, which is called Foxy. I'm taking an angled brush, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the eyebrows. So as you can see, my eyebrows are black. Like I said, I am half Filipino, so my hair is black, black, black. And what I'm doing right there with my angled brush was I can never remember. One of my eyebrows is slightly higher than the other. And I also am a big fan of AlexandraGirlytalk. If you can't tell, she has the most amazing videos, and she just seems like she has a great personality, because I'm trying to lighten up the inside thickest part of my eyebrow. So now I'm going in with a darker shade. It's still not a black or brown shade, but it's a very light brown called Tease, and I'm actually going to darken my eyebrows out to the outer edge. So in K-beauty, what they prefer is they prefer the eyebrows to be lighter in the center and get darker as they go to the edge. They also prefer eyebrows with less of an arch. So they really like the straight, kind of thicker eyebrows. Not necessarily thicker in terms of darker or heavy, like my eyebrows are naturally very dark, but just as in wider. So they kind of like those. So my eyeliner here is the Revlon Color Stay Sharp Line. I like to kind of get the liquid eyeliner going on the back of my hand before I start applying it on my eye. Make sure you clean your hand with toner. So I'm going to stand behind my choice of eyeliner because I've used a lot of liquid eyeliners for events. I find this to be the easiest to apply for everyday wear, and I actually find it also to be the easiest to apply for events. It does not have the staying power that gel eyeliner has. And a lot of people say that with gel liner, you can be a lot more precise. I find that to be true when the gel eyeliner is the newest, when you get it in the pot and you basically have a separate brush, and you've got to make sure you keep that brush super clean so that you can keep getting that nice crisp line. I also find that my gel eyeliners pots usually kind of dry out a little bit too fast for me. I do a lot of events. I just felt like my gel eyeliner was always drying out on me. Maybe that was on me not tightening the lid enough, but if I find a good one, I'll definitely let you know. Now, I messed up my eyeliner a little bit here. For that K-beauty look, we don't want a really heavy, long cat eye. We want more of like a subtle, itty bitty flick off the edge of your eye. And I definitely ended up with a much thicker line on the very end than I was expecting. So I just took a little bit of concealer, put it on the edge of my eye, and then flattened it out, smoothed it out with a flat concealer brush. Now, I find that with eyeliner, that it's usually the best if you just do it right the first time. And this is one where, like, the more patience you have and you don't rush your eyeliner job, usually the better it goes. It's kind of like painting. Like, you just got to have that confidence and just relax and give yourself a chance to practice. But if you do mess up and if it's salvageable, you can kind of do what I'm doing here, which is I am just trying to smooth that little bump I have, that little break in the eyeliner a little bit with my angled brush. It isn't working that well, and it's because it had already dried in that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually leave that alone because I actually became frustrated with myself, which means I needed to take a break from that eye and just start fresh on the other eye. Now on this eye, I'm definitely doing my best to do it right the first time. It's just the easiest way is just to practice enough where you just kind of get the hang of putting on your eyeliner easily and making it look good. And on this side, it's going a lot smoother. So you see I made like a little tail. It's still a little thick, but it's okay. It didn't get too thick where I couldn't fix it. And then just bring that edge of the eyeliner across. And I'm trying to keep this eyeliner really close to my lash line. I am going to be looking at more liquid eyeliners for sure, though, because I just see so much beautiful, artistic things done with liquid eyeliner just everywhere, and I'm definitely going to have to check it out. So over here, I actually still messed up my eyeliner a little bit. Like I said, it's easiest if you do it right the first time. Like, if you get it on that first eye really well, usually the second eye always goes on well too. If it gets a little emotional on the first eye, it's going to get a little emotional on the second eye as well. But I kept my cool. And if you do need to kind of fix your line out, there's a little trick where you just put some eyeshadow onto your angled brush, and you can use that to kind of straighten out the liner a little bit and just clean it up just a little. Yeah. Carefully drag and pull. I don't look overly happy with that, but I'm like, you know what? It's good enough. And we're moving right along to one of the most fun parts, which is doing the false eyelashes. So I actually filmed myself trying out a couple of different pairs of eyelashes. Oh, I have to even this out because I had concealer underneath the tail on the other eye and I want it to be even. So I'm adding concealer under the tail of this eye, which I really like the tail of this eye. So I really tried not to affect the actual eyeliner, but just kind of get that similar whiteness underneath the eye, underneath the eyeliner from the crease. And now I'm going in with an eye. Shade is called Pink Dawn. And I'm going in with my angled brush, and I'm actually going to go right underneath my lash line here. I'm going right under the lash line, and then I'm going to make a little tail. I'm just going to pull that angled brush a little slightly angled downward, but out to the side, just to open up the eye just a little bit more. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. By the way, while we're talking about eyes, I'll go ahead and say that staying in like my K-pop theme, I have purple contacts in. If you weren't able to tell, they are by Air Optics, and the color is Amethyst, and I absolutely love their colored contacts because I wear Air Optics clear contacts on a regular basis. Then after that, we're going to make our eyelashes super curly. So this was something that's like very big in K-beauty, is the curly eyelashes and the curling of the eyelashes, to the point where I'm doing a basic curling technique where I'm taking my Tweezerman curl tool and I'm basically pressing down on that tool for about 15 seconds initially, and then doing like a couple of pumps there, and then doing like 5-second pumps all the way to the ends of my eyelashes. I also saw in a lot of the K-beauty makeup tutorials that they actually recommend rotating your curler different directions to really get those eyelashes as curly as possible. Now we're making our eyelashes curly, but we're also going to be putting on fake eyelashes as well. So I didn't get too crazy with it. I find that my eyelashes tend to be pretty responsive to the curling mechanism. So once they're curled enough, we'll go ahead and we'll move into mascara. All right, so I am using Say mascara in black. Now, this is one of the most awesome tips that I found from the K-beauty makeup tutorials, is that not only do you clean your mascara brush on the edges of your mascara bottle, but you also clean your mascara brush off on a tissue, or in my case, a paper towel. And it's just amazing. Like, it makes it so much easier to get a really clean mascara on your eyelashes. And the way I feel about it is I'm like, is this something that everybody else has known that I've just not known that I had this option? Because this was a game changer for me. Like, look at that. That's totally different. I've always pro getting new mascaras, like I said, at least every 3 months. If you're wearing a lot of makeup, you're probably getting mascara like every 2 months. And it's not fun to try to work with like a dried out mascara. Like, it's really important to use clean products and make sure that you're using new products as needed, especially for your eyes. As a dancer, I wasn't getting enough sleep a lot of times for events. And so when you wear contacts every day and you're wearing them, like maybe you're working the event 10 hours, you need to take care of your eyes, because you don't want to look like a monster by the time that the event is over. And I mean, these events would go like 3 to 4 days at a time. So I'm very pro eye care. The nice thing about this Say mascara is on the tip, it has this like ball with spines poking out of it, and you can use that to kind of redefine the eyelashes on top. I also saw in a K-beauty makeup tutorial to just use the end of your mascara stick to do the bottom eyelashes instead of doing them the same way you do the top with the whole brush. And I definitely like that trick because it just reduces the amount of mascara that you're getting on your eyelashes. It ends up having a much cleaner effect. So now I'm going back to the blush, and I just love this blush. So I just had to add more on the apples of my cheeks. And I really wanted this to have a very pink look. So I really went in with some very pink mascara. So her makeup is very like white, pink, Blackpink, and even though this is a K-pop look, it is very natural, but it's like an exaggerated now. I'm grabbing my eyelash and I'm just measuring it to my eye. Like I said, I have very round eyes, so a lot of times I have to curl the false eyelashes around my finger. More often than that, I usually cut them in half because I just find a half lash looks better on me and it's easier to handle. But for this look, I don't see a lot of K-beauty artists using a half lash. It looks like they used probably mostly the individual lashes and put them on in the center of the eye. So I'm just doing a more traditional wispy eyelash to get those lashes coming up in the center of the eye. I still ended up trimming it just a little bit. Even though the lashes are as long as my eyes, I want to make sure that it's going to be able to handle the shape of my eye. So I had to trim them a little bit to get it closer to the effect that I wanted. But I tried to keep it so that there would be lashes in the center of the eye and not just on the end. And when you have a half lash, it gives you very much that cat eye look. And a lot of what I see in K-beauty is they have those long lashes right in the center of the eye. So I wanted to really make sure that I had that look for this style today, and tried to go with a more natural wispy lash rather than one that's going to be very dramatic. So I went ahead and how I like to apply my eyelashes is I like to put the glue on there, let the glue sit for 30 seconds. I prefer for the glue to be a little bit tacky when I start putting it on the eye. And then I like to use my long nails to gently tap and mold and keep that eyelash in place until the glue is really holding. I prefer using my hands to apply eyelashes. I've used tweezers. I've used like the eyelash tweezers, and sometimes they work really well for me. But I find that my best tool is my own hands and my own fingernails, and just finding that shape before I put the glue on, which is what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to mold that eyelash to my eye as well as I can. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready to glue that eyelash on. This is another great opportunity for me to say that this year I'm really looking to just explore. I want to share a lot of the things that I have learned. I've had a very interesting life. I've had a very kind of widespread amount of experience, and I just want to share what is valuable to the world with the world. I just want to make my own contributions to like our creative community online. So if you're interested in getting some like variety of content, please feel free to follow me. I'm also getting married this year, so I'll definitely be posting some things about like my wedding dress shopping experience. You can probably see from this video, like I love nails. I get my nails done. I'm not very good at doing nails, actually. Letting that glue dry for that eyelash. But yeah, I've been teaching for a long time. Teaching has been my main source of income. Like I've been a performer. I've collaborated on events. I've performed in events. I've performed as a dancer, as a singer, as a musical theater person. I've tried almost every style of dance. I've got my styles that I'm better at, and the styles that I just love. For example, I love ballet. I just absolutely love it, but I'm just not the strongest ballerina out there, but I love it anyway. And some things in life, they're just like that. I'm a much stronger ballroom dancer than I am a ballet dancer, which makes sense because that's what I focused my professional career on. So yeah. So, if you want to just see a variety of content, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I've just been making like the most like silly videos. Like some of my videos are serious, but I'm on all the social media platforms. My handle on Instagram is JudyGal33. And I'm also obviously on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm on here as J Gallagher. You can find me there. Basically, I've been making all these things that I just want to make. Like, for example, I like went out to Disney Springs and I dressed up as Elvis and I did this dance and put it on YouTube, and was kind of surprised because that post, it didn't do well on Instagram, it didn't do well on TikTok, but it's my most viewed video on YouTube, and I've had like the most responses, both good and bad, to that video. And it's just kind of funny because it was something that I just wanted to make. Like, I was supposed to go out dancing with my sister. We were going to go out country dancing, actually. So country dancing is one of my favorite things because I went to college in Texas. And while I was waiting for her to get ready, I just kept playing Elvis Presley's song Trouble and just like made this dance to it. And I just completely wore myself out before we went out. But I had a ton of fun. And then, I bought an Elvis wig and just like went to Disney Springs by myself with a phone stand and just like recorded myself doing this dance in Disney Springs. And I tried to go in an area that wasn't very busy, but there was still definitely people there. And it's just, yeah, so if you're just like ready to see some random content, or if there's anything specific that you'd like to see, please reach out. I'm starting to get into cosplay. I mean, I've always been into costumes because of growing up as a dancer and working as a dancer for the majority of my adult career. Costumes is just a big thing. And I mean, you end up doing a lot of showcases with a lot of different people. And there we go. Tap, tap, tap to the eyelash. Getting that as close to the lash line as possible. And voila, our look is completely finished. But yeah, I am on social media to have fun. So, I mean, if there's something you want to see, just go ahead and shoot me a message. I am really down to clown, if you know what I'm saying. So, finishing spray, you gotta have it. I like to use Maybelline's glass spray. Really simple, really inexpensive, but pretty much any finishing spray is gonna help set your makeup and help keep it good. And I just took my hair down out of like that crazy bun so you could see what my hair looks like when it's down. But to complete this look, we're actually going to be putting on a pink wig. This pink wig, I just ordered it off Amazon, and it was only like $15. I'll include a link to the wig in the bottom. But it was just hilarious because the bangs were really long, and I've worn a lot of wigs. I have a lot of wigs, actually. Surprisingly used a lot of wigs as a ballroom dancer for showcases. But the funniest thing about it was that the bangs were just so long, and I was trying to like cut them properly at first, but because I was wearing the wig while I was trying to cut them, I kind of like freaked out and just ended up like chopping the front of the bangs kind of straight. Like, I think there's meant to be just a little bit longer. But otherwise a beautiful wig, especially for $15. It's a heat resistant wig. I didn't use any heat on it yet. I just kind of popped it on, and hot pink sweater with the flowers on it. It's like so similar to what she's wearing in the album cover. And I just got that at Zara from Disney Springs because I love Disney Springs. Since I am from Orlando, I'm one of those theme park people. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching my K-pop makeup tutorial. I really appreciate the support. Please follow me for more, and otherwise have the most amazing day.